Hello, this is George Hutton, and you are listening to the Mind Persuasion Podcast. Today we continue our study of Weaponized Hypnosis. For more information, please visit mindpersuasion.com/weaponized-hypnosis. In today's podcast, we'll be talking about using these techniques beyond defensive. So far, we've learned how to calmly question the presuppositions behind the common verbal attacks we all undergo in our daily lives. By doing so, including doing the daily writing exercises, you will develop an incredible amount of insight and communication flexibility. However, you will also find that sometimes this isn't enough. Very few who are trained in martial arts will ever abstain from using any attacks and only use their training to dodge punches. If you only dodge punches, the person will keep punching. Nearly all martial arts teach a combination of blocks and counter punches. Even while calmly questioning the presuppositions hidden within their statements, it may only provide a temporary respite. For example, let's say you're at work discussing a project with the rest of your team members. The project is behind schedule. Nobody is sure if it will be complete on time. In these situations, one thing people tend to do once it's clear that failure is probable is to start looking for a scapegoat. If there are 4 of you and each person suspects the project will be late, the next logical thought is to keep from getting blamed. However, some people aren't confident in their ability to shrug off blame. So they purposely pick whom they think is the weakest member to slowly start to build the idea that it's their fault. When the time comes to present the unfinished project, the scapegoat has already been chosen by the group. He or she hasn't been chosen through a conscious democratic election. He or she has been chosen through manipulative tactics that we've been describing so far. If you aren't sure how to handle these statements, it's easy to ignore them, thinking that they are just passing comments when in reality, they were a planned character assassination, albeit a small one, so everybody can have a person to blame when the boss gets angry. A very simple statement can be as follows. If Roger didn't get stuck in traffic today, we might not have been this far behind. This is a counterfactual conditional clause which intends to blame Roger for the current problem. If it's true that Roger did get stuck in traffic by the virtue of pseudo-logic, it sounds reasonable. It also doesn't sound like a direct assault. It sort of sounds like the speaker is blaming the traffic and not Roger, but the seed is planted. A couple more innocent-sounding statements like this said over the next few days, and people will begin to believe that Roger really is the culprit. Now suppose Roger has been practicing these techniques and has been writing out the linguistic presuppositions. Let's assume that Roger notices instantly the counterfactual conditional clause pattern, and he knows that the speaker is trying to cause a linkage between Roger getting stuck in traffic and subconsciously and vicariously Roger himself and the behind schedule report. Suppose Roger is extremely quick-minded and comes back with the following. Well, because of the traffic, I was 3 minutes late, and this project is a lot more than 3 minutes behind. If you want, I'll stay 3 minutes later today to even things out, but I still think we'll be behind. Even if Roger said this good-naturedly and got a laugh from the others, including the speaker, the issue would still remain. They are still behind schedule, and they still would all like to have a scapegoat, so they don't get blamed. The speaker is also not too happy that Roger successfully put him down in front of others. He may very well redouble his efforts to think of a reason to blame Roger. This is the problem with only dodging punches. The more punches you dodge, the more the punch thrower believes you aren't going to punch back. This means he'll just keep throwing punches. All he needs to do is land one. However, Roger can't very well punch the speaker in the face after his stuck in traffic comment. We can, however, use the same linguistic tools to fight back, but we aren't going to fight fire with fire. In this case, fighting fire with fire means that Roger would shrug off the traffic comment and then try to blame the speaker for their project being late. This would trigger a might makes right battle of put-downs, which would be perfect for the other 2 project workers. They could easily blame the project was not finished on time because Roger and the speaker were too busy blaming each other to work on the project. We need something much more covert and much deadlier. Female self-defense. Many females take self-defense classes. These aren't martial arts classes that are studied for many years for many reasons. These are down and dirty self-defense techniques that are used for one purpose and one purpose only: defend and disarm an attacker and get the hell out of Dodge as quickly as possible. The idea being that if a rapist, mugger, or murderer is going to attack a woman out alone at night, then the only rule is whatever works. Keys stuck in eyeballs, groin kicks, cans of pepper spray emptied directly into their face, elbows to the throat are all acceptable. There are no points for style, skill, or sportsmanship. There is only defend, disable, and run. And when they say disable, they mean make sure the guy is lying on the ground and isn't likely to get up for a while. That will be our strategy. But our strategy will be linguistic and covert. It will be done swiftly and viciously. The only point is that the attacker gets the clear message. Don't mess with me. I fight dirty. I have no problems destroying you. Ideal outcome. To be certain, trying to neutralize by simply questioning their embedded insult may be the best first choice. You'll find that most of the time that is enough. It's a very subtle way to demonstrate that any linguistic attacks will be quickly flipped back. Most people, when they get a response like Roger gave previously, would laugh it off and realize that Roger isn't an easy target. But remember, some bullies won't stop being bullies unless you bloody them up a bit. Also consider that practicing the following techniques until you have the real confidence to use them will give you a slightly subtler, dangerous edge to any natural responses. The following techniques definitely fall under the category of practice them so you never have to use them. Knowing you can do much more than defending blows with neutral questions will also give you a lot more confidence. The bodybuilder fight. A long time ago, I was in the locker room of a gym. I had finished and was getting dressed after taking a shower. Also in the locker room was a rather large bodybuilder. His locker was next to another person who had some kind of issue with something. I don't know exactly what happened, but as I came out, the bodybuilder and the other guy were already in a heated argument. The other guy was a lot smaller and started to try to hit the bodybuilder. The smaller guy kept getting angrier and angrier as he tried to hit the bodybuilder, but the bodybuilder easily blocked all his punches. It was clear to everybody watching that the bodybuilder could easily knock the smaller guy out with one punch, but he chose not to. It was almost like watching a child throw a tantrum against a very patient adult. Finally, the smaller guy packed his stuff and left, humiliated. When you practice the following patterns to the point of fluency, you'll be like that bodybuilder whenever anybody starts to throw insults at you. Just knowing that with one or two statements you can absolutely devastate them will allow you to withstand a lot more verbal abuse. And just patiently absorbing the abuse without getting angry or upset because of the skills you will have developed will make you look much better and your attacker much worse. It's tough to be the adult and take the high road when you are defenseless, but when you can obliterate your enemy with a few well-placed linguistic presuppositions, taking the high road is very easy. You can even do so with a smile on your face. I'm George Hutton. Thank you for listening to the Mind Persuasion Podcast. For more information, please visit mindpersuasion.com/weaponized-hypnosis. I look forward to speaking with you again soon.